In only a few days, the MotoGP season will restart after the long summer break, where riders will have been relaxing, training, and shaving their hair, all in an effort to prepare for the second half of the season. So let's preview that second half of the season and see how the championship battle could play out. So we have 9 races remaining in the 2022 season, meaning that there are 225 points up for offer, and 3 likely competitors for the title, those of course being Fabio Quartararo, Aleix Espargaro, and Pecco Bagnaia. Enea Bastianini and Zarco could also be in discussion here, but the first half of the season that Zarco has not seen the necessary highs of race wins to really be in discussion, and Enea Bastianini has struggled with consistency even more than Bagnaia. So it seems probable that Quartararo, Bagnaia, and Aleix are the likely contenders for the championship. The 9 races in the second half of the season are the British, Austrian, San Marino, Aragon, Japanese, Thai, Australian, Malaysian, and of course Valencian GP. Notably, 4 of these races, the flyaway rounds, have not been run since 2019, and this is critical since Quartararo and Bagnaia have minimal experience at these tracks and have only ridden in the MotoGP class at these circuits once in their careers. This may mean that Aleix Espargaro with more experience could have the advantage. So let's break down the results in the past of these riders at each of the upcoming 9 rounds to get a picture of how this title may play out. Our first round back is of course the British Grand Prix this coming weekend. A good track for Fabio, who won there last year. However, this year arrives with a long lap penalty after the difficult Dutch Grand Prix. Aleix Espargaro comes in after an excellent race in the Netherlands, which, whilst not being the result that he wanted, was an amazing recovery ride that he can draw confidence from. This is also the track where he did very well last year and took his first ever podium with Aprilia at the 2021 British Grand Prix. Pecco comes in with the high of a win, but Silverstone has not been the strongest of tracks for him, with 2021 being a good example of this, as he struggled in the race and crossed the line in 14th. The Austrian round at the Red Bull Ring is a Ducati track and will likely remain so even with the new layout. In last year's event, Pecco was second in the race, beaten out by Binder, who remained on slicks during the rain. Before the rain, however, Bagnaia was set to at least challenge for the top spot. Ducati have of course won plenty of races in the past at the Red Bull Ring, and it is a round that Bagnaia should be able to easily win this year. Fabio Quartararo doesn't have the best history at this circuit. The 2 races at the track in 2020 saw him come across the line in 8th and 13th, and in 2021 he achieved a 3rd and a 7th place for that year's doubleheader. There isn't really a fair comparison for Aleix, and how he may do at the track is unknown. The 2021 Austrian GP saw him crash out, although he was looking good for a top 10 as he did so often last year. The wild Austrian GP 1 week later saw him finish in 10th place. It's hard to tell a lot from those results. The Aprilia has seemed to be a consistently competitive bike at all previous rounds this year, and will likely do the same this year at the Austrian Grand Prix. The round in San Marino is almost like a second Italian GP, and Pecco has a great history of doing well at the Misano circuit. It was another race that held a double-header last year, and Pecco won the first race, and then crashed from the lead in the second one after a drop in temperature meant that his hard front tyre gave up with just 4 laps to go. Nonetheless, the Italian does have a great history at the circuit, no doubt helped by the VR46 Academy being based in nearby Tavullia. Quartararo achieved second in the first of the races at Misano last year and secured the title with 4th place after a pushback from 15th on the grid. Aleix Espargaro scored points from both rounds, 8th in the first one and 7th in the second. Moving on to Aragon, where Fabio doesn't have the greatest of histories in recent years. Pole in 2020 led to an 18th place finish in the race, and 2021 saw him finish in 8th. Pecco won last year with a sterling defence from Marc Marquez, starting his push to try and catch Fabio in the 2021 title race. Aragon is also a good track for Aleix Espargaro. Even on the worst of Aprilias, he has almost always come across the line in the top 8. It is also a track where Aleix achieved his first podium in the MotoGP class, so this could be an interesting one this year. The next 4 rounds are interesting and difficult to judge as both Fabio and Pecco were rookies when MotoGP last raced at these tracks in 2019. Aleix Espargaro was on a highly uncompetitive Aprilia, so it's also difficult to judge how he may do at these rounds. That being said, Fabio Quartararo looks set for the Thai and Japanese Grand Prix. He took second behind Marc Marquez in both of those rounds and achieved pole in Thailand and Malaysia, so he clearly has some pace at these tracks. Australia is hardest to work out for Fabio. 2019 saw him qualify in second, but he got taken out by Petrucci in the early stages. It is similarly impossible to tell how Pecco Bagnaia may do at these rounds. His rookie season saw an 11th place finish in Thailand, 13th in Japan, a season high of 4th in Australia, and a 12th in Malaysia. Thailand, Japan and Malaysia all saw wins from Pecco in his title-winning Moto2 year, but who knows how that could transfer to MotoGP, particularly after 2 years of not racing at these circuits. As with the other two, Aleix Espargaro is a complete unknown for these flyaway rounds as well. The results are all what you would have expected from Aprilia of old when he last raced there in 2019. He was generally in the points but just outside of the top 10, so there's not a lot we can learn from how he did back then. So we get to the Valencian GP. How has the last half of the season played out? Well, this is what makes this year so exciting. The return of the flyaway rounds means that we are in for some races that may throw some spanners into the works. There are plenty of rounds that could easily go any of the 3 riders' ways. For Fabio, if he keeps his wheels down, as he's done very well at for the past 2 seasons, he could have this in the bag. Historically, he has the best record on the overseas tracks and does come in with a slight points buffer. However, Aleix Espargaro has one extra card up his sleeve: Maverick Viñales. Whilst Quartararo's teammates are all fighting each other for the wooden spoon at the moment, Maverick has clearly gained confidence, and he is becoming more of a threat. This means that Aleix now has a rear gunner to help him take valuable points off of Quartararo. Continuing his consistency will of course be critical for Aleix as well, but if he can do that, his teammate helping him will be a great benefit. Bagnaia and Ducati, if they want to win this, will need some luck and a unified strategy. With plenty of bikes on the grid and plenty of talented riders, Ducati need to choose their challenger and use their other riders to slow down and steal points from Quartararo and Aleix whilst Bagnaia maximizes his points. Whilst Quartararo and Aleix also of course can't make any mistakes in the second half of the season, Bagnaia cannot make a single mistake. The title fight for Ducati will currently probably come down to the next 2 rounds, Silverstone and Austria. If these 2 rounds don't go well, then Bagnaia is out of it. There is a long way to go in this title fight, with plenty still to fight for. Let's hope for an epic second half to the 2022 season. If you like this video and want to see more, please like and subscribe. If you're interested, watch the video on me grading every rider's first half of the 2022 season. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye.